LSU. Just sort of a average quarterback this first season at LSU, and then in his second season, he lit it up. Now, just think if he hadn't gotten to play that final season, then nobody would have known what that young man is capable of. And so that's probably what some of these football players are thinking. You really can't blame them. I think if I was 20 years old and was in tip-top physical condition, bigger, stronger, faster than everybody else, I'd want to play too, especially showcasing your talents for the NFL so that you can go to the NFL. You can be drafted, a high draft pick, and make some money. You can't play long, in football because you're going to get hurt. So you got to strike while the iron's hot. And some of these college football players feel like the iron for them is hot right now. And unfortunately, they cannot play. So I'm rooting for the kids. I don't want them to be in any physical danger and have any harm come to them. But if they want to play after they have heard everything from doctors and scientists about this virus and the possibilities, if they still want to play, I say let them play. You can keep them. You can keep them on campus if anything happens, and let them ride it out 14 days. They test negative, put them back with the other players, and keep moving, man. I know, sounds easier said than done, but you gotta try it. Gotta try something. All right, this is the final break we're gonna go to. Don't go away, because after these messages, we'll be right back.
And now, without further ado, the man we've all been waiting for, T-Jam D. Welcome back to the show.
Without further ado, I'm back. Thank you. All right. So college football, not all the conferences in the Power Five, as they call it. I like when they called it the BCS conferences better. I don't know why, but it just sounds better than Power Five to me. But that's just me. But not all the conferences so far in the Power Five have postponed their seasons. Only the Big Ten and the Pac-10. Connecticut, the University of Connecticut canceled their football season. And I think they canceled some other fall sports seasons. The Ivy League canceled their football season. But no one cared as much about those schools football wise. I mean, the Ivy League, there's some very prestigious universities, all of them in the Ivy League, actually. Princeton, Brown, Yale, Harvard, a lot of prestigious. I didn't name them all. I just named the ones you hear the most out of the Ivy League: Harvard, Yale, and Princeton, Brown. But they've all canceled their football seasons. The Ivy League, and now the Big Ten has postponed. They said they might play theirs in the spring, but then you're going to be playing 2 football seasons in 1 year. Sounds like a bit much, but I don't know. Maybe it'll work out. We'll see. A lot of people are going to be disappointed, that college football, the Big Ten. This is Big Ten country around here in Ohio. So, a lot of people will be disappointed if they don't change their minds, which it doesn't sound like they're going to, actually. So, we will see what happens. I have one other thing about the entertainment business, because I keep seeing this, and I think it has to do with the protest that has been going on as of late. Since the murder of George Floyd, we've had a lot of protests, and some of them have gone on for a lengthy amount of time. Long, never expected, protests to be still happening. In Portland, they were happening for a long. I don't even know if they still are happening to this day, but they've been happening for a long time, since George Floyd's murder by a police officer in Minneapolis. The dumb jackass, bigot bastard in Minneapolis. Whenever I think about that, I think you had your knee on this guy's neck for 8 minutes and some change. 8 minutes and 47 seconds, they say. I mean, that's just uncalled for. You're just a stupid dick face for thinking that's just okay to do. Just thinking it's okay. What a jackass, nasty dick face. But ever since that happened, there's been protests and some riots in Minneapolis where, some buildings were caught on fire. Speaking of which, some of these looters were white supremacists, and they were just trying to blend in and start, damaging property, starting fires, and looting because they wanted to make the protesters look bad. So some of them were caught, and they were identified as white supremacists, but they were out there spray painting, breaking windows, trying to encourage people to loot. And they found out much later that when they caught the guys, that it was white supremacists trying to get protesters looked at in a bad light. But I digress. What I was going to mention is I keep seeing these interviews of these black entertainers, celebrities, rich and famous people, and it's the same ones, really. It's Morgan Freeman, I can't remember the guy's name. He's a Johnny Come Lately, but he's a good actor, though. The guy who was in Avengers as Captain America's friend, Sam something. That was his character's name. I can't remember the actor's name, but anyway. They keep talking to these black entertainers about racism. And Morgan Freeman is the most shocking one, because he keeps talking about we keep talking about it. Oh, I'm not going to. He tells, I think it's Morley Safer, guy off of 60 Minutes. This is an older interview, but they keep coming up. They keep being brought up. he says, I'm not going to refer to you as a white man, and you don't refer to me as a black man. And we're talking about it. As if to say, if we didn't talk about it, it would just go away. But that's not how we're going to solve racism, by not talking about it. These black entertainers, man, I can't believe some of them are saying what they're saying. Lil Wayne, hip-hop artist from New Orleans, shot himself, by the way, when he was a kid. So I don't know what neighborhood. I'm not familiar with New Orleans to the point where I understand, different neighborhoods and background and all of that. But Lil Wayne, the hip hop artist from New Orleans, I imagine, guessing he wasn't from the best neighborhood, but these interviews, he keeps saying that, he's got all these white fans and he's not having a bad time. It's almost like these guys are trying to say there is no racism in America. I mean, if you hear what Lil Wayne is saying when they ask him about racism, and if you hear what Morgan Freeman says when he's asked about racism, it is it's surprising. I won't say it's shocking. I won't go so far as to say something is shocking with not shocking. It's surprising, though. It's surprising that Morgan Freeman has that opinion that if you just don't talk about it, you know what I'm saying? If you don't acknowledge it, it'll go away. No, it won't. Racism is worse than the coronavirus, and it's not going to attack your lungs. It's really just going to attack your mind. But Lil Wayne talking about, he's got a bunch of white fans and he's doing so well and they treating me right, boss. That's what he might as well be saying. You know what I'm saying? It's like a house nigga versus a field nigga. The regular, that's what people used to say back in the day, but regular people, just the average black man, not rich and not famous, would have a much different view than rich and famous celebrities who are practically, maybe they've just gotten so comfortable in the way they live in our society that racism just doesn't affect them anymore. You know what I'm saying? But it affects me. And I'm not rich. I'm not famous. I'm just a regular guy. And it affects, look how it affected George Floyd. And what people got to understand is, first of all, you don't talk to black celebrities about racism. Okay? Our society treats famous people very well, kisses their ass, basically. So, when you take a famous person, whether they're white or black, and you ask them about problems that a regular person would have, they're not going, most of them wouldn't know, they won't have a legitimate opinion about it. It'll be a bogus opinion because of the longer you're famous and the richer you get, the more people are going to treat you like you're something special when you're not. You are a human being. Now, if you feel like, well, that's special, that's not any more special than the rest of the people. But they're going to treat you like gold if you're rich and famous. So these black celebrities with their ridiculous opinions about social injustice, which they don't seem to know anything about. They're sort of forgotten where they come from. And it's not all black celebrities, because if you